Hey everybody, my name's Oli. I'm a Freeletics ambassador from the UK.
And this is Angelo, Freeletics ambassador from the United States.
Welcome to the Shaped by Gods podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, welcome to the Shaped by Gods podcast. We are into episode 5 now. We are well on the way to making this the most regular podcast that I've ever done. And I'm sure
Me too.
yeah.
The most episodes I ever recorded in my life.
That's right. I've done 5 more of these episodes than I've done of any other podcast so far. So yeah, we're official now. We're in. Okay, so quick recap on last week's episode. We spoke about motivation and injury. As much as they are both huge topics, we obviously didn't cover the entirety of motivation or the entirety of dealing with injury, but we covered a lot. We got some good anecdotes in there about the fleas that could they limited themselves by jumping up to the lid that was put onto their container. That perceived level of ability that we sort of adapt to our surroundings, and when you've got a whole group of people or fleas telling you that you can't do something, you begin to believe that, especially if you're born into that environment. And actually, I think we're going to carry on that discussion today, and we're going to talk about the negative side of that. We talked about the positive side of motivation a lot last week, and addressed some of the things that people are able to achieve through positivity. And this week, we're going to touch on the negative side of that and how to navigate your way through negativity. But we'll get to that in a minute. Last week, we also had our workout of the week, which was Metis. And we got some great insight from the community on Metis. We've had people on Instagram. We've had people in our WhatsApp group commenting about Metis. It's such a famous workout that we sort of knew we were going to get a lot of feedback on that one. We've got another workout of the week this week, and we've got a few little news pieces. We're going to catch up with some of the events that have been going on since the last episode, and we'll be talking about those. So how's your week been, Angelo? How are you doing? I know you've been dealing with something this week that relates to our last episode. You had a little injury, didn't you?
Yeah, it was very related, actually. We're talking about injuries, and during the winter time now, here in Massachusetts, not even far away from Boston, like a half an hour from Boston, cold weather, snow everywhere. And it was very early in the morning, just woken up a few minutes after or whatever. And I decided to lift something, and it was very quick. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about the weight or what I'm going to do. And I just lifted and I just put my lower right back. Yeah. And so no workouts, nothing for the last 5-6 days. Yeah. So I paid the mistake. It's just like we said, before we do everything, something that requires strength, we need to be prepared. I should be prepared. I should just think about it, about the weight, and warm it up a little bit.
I think
it's getting better now.
That's very common though, Angelo. I think because we do pay so much attention. If we're going to do a workout, we put so much emphasis on the warm up and the cool down. And I think for me, particularly 9 times out of 10, if I do get injured, it's either when I'm asleep, which means I have no control over it, or you're just doing something so simple that you don't even consider the possibility. But it did feel good because you told me as soon as you'd done that. But it did feel good that we'd had that conversation just before you'd done that, and there was plenty of that, because a lot of time you don't think about these things, but the fact that we'd had a good think and a discussion about it meant that we could say, okay, well, let's just refer to what we spoke about in that last episode, and you've applied a lot of that, and you've managed your injury very well. You haven't gone straight back into a workout, and you've managed it, so you've done the very best thing you could for your recovery. So well done, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. There is a method. They call it RICE. They call it RICE, like RICE. So rest, ice, compression, and elevation.
Yeah.
And the first thing I did, just the moment it happened, just my breath just stopped working, and it was very, very tight. And I just boiled some brown rice, and it was really good. And I was completely fine after it, Put some lentils on it, and perfect. Anyway, so rest, ice, compression, and elevation. The best thing I did, just some ice bag, ice in it, water right away, for 15 minutes. And because it's the back, you cannot elevate it, just you might hurt yourself more. So lay down on the bed, have the ice bag under my back, on the lower back, whatever, 15 minutes. And then I applied heat from a heating pad I have. And from the ice went directly to the heat, and then just rested for the next few days. And the results were amazing, and instantly, like day 1 to day 2, the difference was day and night. And after four days, I can say it's just almost completely healed, because I keep doing it ice every 4-5 hours. That's so really helps.
Yeah, I think it could actually be underestimated how much that difference that does actually make. I think when I had my accident, when I came off my pull-up bars, the first thing I did, I got straight into a cold shower and put that, because I didn't want to put ice directly onto the skin. So I was straight into a cold shower, and I stood under that for 10 minutes. And actually, if you haven't got access to any decent hot and cold treatment, it's good to regularly get in the shower, blast yourself with cold water on the injury, and then you can then control that and put it to warm and then cold again, and it's manageable. You've done the best thing there, mate. And I think as far as your mental side of dealing with that injury as well, you've been really calm. You haven't let it get you down. You've still been keeping on top of yourself, and you went for a run today, which is that's making sure you're still getting that mental stimulation from your exercise, and still progressing without risking injury further. So
because some people, they when they injure the upper body, they stop. When they injure the upper body, they just stop everything. So the best thing, like we said the last episode, is you can keep working out the lower body. But I took 2-3 days off completely from any workout, because sometimes when you do some exercises like leg workouts, whatever, your upper body gives some tension, and you might get more injured. So I give 3 days to really cool down and recover. And I went for a run today. It felt great. And worked out those legs a little bit, and I think I'm gonna be ready tomorrow for another workout. Slow, perfect. Again, just to see where we are, how I feel and everything, and listen to my body. Whatever is gonna be the feedback from my body, I'm gonna keep doing it.
And just take that slow approach, and take your time, and like you said, listen to your body. You don't have to go straight back in with your full coach mode. You can adapt to, because you know whereabouts on your body you are hurting, if you are hurting still, or the part of your body that is perhaps vulnerable to re-injury. So that's good. You've approached it very well, and actually it's actually been a pretty good case study of exactly what we were talking about last week. So it's good to have you back. Good to have you back.
It's like it happened on purpose. Thank you so much. It's like it happened on purpose. Like right after the episode, it just got a mild injury, and I'm very glad, because it's funny, because I had to apply whatever we said. I had to apply it like right after the episode, and
it's perfect.
So I feel great. It was really good.
That's why this week we're going to talk about how to deal with winning the lottery. So how to cope with suddenly becoming a millionaire.
How to pick the right numbers and become a millionaire.
That's right. And then this time next week we'll be sorted. We'll put that into practice. Okay, I think that's a good recap from week 1. We're going to now get into our topic for this week. We want to talk about negativity. Life is at least half negative. For some people, it is probably closer to 95% negative. But a lot of that isn't necessarily true. A lot of that is your mindset and the way you approach your existence. Granted, a lot of the time, things happen. things can happen, and people can be dealt a very, very difficult card, or a handful of very, very difficult cards. But I think the mistake is in thinking that this is just you. This is just you that gets negative, and everyone else got so much positive in their life, and I just get negative. And I think mindset has a big part to do with that. For me, I mean, the last 4 or 5 years, for me personally, most people would probably consider to have been just all negative. I've had a lot of hard times over the last 5 years with my little family, but at no point, I mean, there's been days where it's been very difficult and quite upsetting, but at no point have I ever seen the things that have happened to me as a negative. It's always a chance to grow, and as soon as one thing closes, one window closes, another one opens. What about you, Angelo? Where do you want to kick off with your talk on negativity and this sort of negative vibe?
Negativity, unfortunately, I mean, fortunately has a big part in my life. It used to be always part of my life since I remember myself growing up in an abusive family, verbally or physically. Over the years, I'm thankful, I built in the mindset of, I had the family, the abuse, physically and mentally, and then you are lucky to meet the right people. They're telling you there's something else behind this, there's something better than this, because I was lucky enough to, when you cry, when you feel bad, there's somebody next to you, not just to comfort you and say, you know what, everything is going to be fine. There's somebody over there to give you a story because you went through the same stuff. And they gave me they gave me hope, they gave me vision, they changed how I was seeing the world, because back then I had hate too for everybody, because negativity just affected me so much, because I let the negativity affect me so much. And I had hate for the people. I didn't like anything. I didn't want to do anything. I was hating myself. And the most crucial in my life is I believed the people that I loved the most. The people that I loved the most were the people that abused my mind and my body for many, many years, let's say 22 years, and made the reality that I had, until some people I was lucky enough stepped into my life, and when they heard my story and they saw me acting not right, they saw something inside me that I can understand. They saw why I have these feelings inside me, because they went through the same stuff. And through some questions and some conversations, some people they managed to add some flowers, into this wild garden, and started taking those weeds out of my garden one by one, and they created this garden, my mind. They start making it beautiful with my work at the same time. And like you said, mostly it's mindset. I think it's 100% mindset, whatever is happening, how we react to the things. Because I grew up believing I was useless. I grew up believing I was ugly. I was slow. I was over hyper, and this is not good. Many other things, for physically, like abnormalities or whatever you can imagine. Family members abusing you daily over the past years. And until somebody told me, he says, okay, you hate everybody, you hate everything. And he told me one phrase that remained always in my mind. He says, what if is all they know? He says, what if is all they know? If you take a kid and raise it as a thief, for the rest of his life, he's gonna think like stealing is the only right thing to do, just stealing from other people. And when you tell that kid that, stop stealing because it's not good, it's gonna go against you, because this is all the kid knows about it, like being a thief. So that person told me, says, what if this is all they knew about how to raise you, like siblings or parents? What if this is all they knew? And I say, yeah, but there were times that I almost died. I thought I'm gonna die. And he says, yeah, okay, but what if this is the only thing they knew about? And I say, you know what, you have the right thing. And there's some other examples, whatever. And this has made me thinking, and says, why you love these people so much, like friends, family members, and they're telling you you're useless, you this and that. And says, you gave up on everything. He says, why don't you give it a try? That's how I changed. He says, why don't you give it a try? Do something, a very simple one. They told you, like, you have the worst memory ever, right? You like stupid, you can't grow, you can't do this, you can't do that. He says, why don't you take a book? Something that has a skill in it, something to learn a skill, how to be a programmer, how to be a graphic designer, something with electronics, because I love the technology and I'm very into computers and all this stuff. So why did you grab something like that and start make something on your own, like on your own pace? Just take the book, read it, study it, and try to become whatever you love, something that you believed from the other people and that you're never gonna be, because these people convinced you that you're never gonna be one. And I said, okay, I got the book about programming, and I started learning Java. So in the beginning, it was tough, because my focus was going away. I was always distracted because I mastered the skill of distraction. I couldn't be in 1 minute at the same point. So anyway, so I started learning, I started studying, and then when that person saw me studying, he says, why did you go a little further? Why did you take an online class and see if you can finish it? So see if you can go further than you believe you can go. And I said, okay. So I got a class for programming from Duke University for web designing and Java developing, and I got the certificate. I finished the whole thing, and I finished it on my own pace, working at the same time, working out on the same time, and doing the programming. And I got a certificate. So it's very emotional, because this was the moment I changed. Yeah. And when I printed the paper, and I was staring at it for 5 minutes. Those 5 minutes, I wasn't looking at the paper. I was looking. My whole life was coming in front of my eyes of what all the people said to me, what I believed. In this paper was the proof of everyone was wrong. Yeah. Me too, also, because I believed that I was useless, that it was me also. And this was the potential, this is who we are. This is who we are, and this is who we can be, and this certificate I was holding, it was this one. And my whole mind changed. Start getting books, I started studying, start working out harder, start being a better person, working on myself. And it was all about, I understood that it's all about mindset and perspective on everything. If you're two people and you tell them the way to success, and you don't know why, but one person is going to follow and is going to be successful, the other one is not going to do it. You don't know why, but it's all about mindset. It's the same blueprint for everybody. It's all about to understand it and close your eyes, your ears, close your ears, stop listening to the surroundings, whoever it is, especially family, siblings, friends, whatever, and just give it a try. This is what I did. This is what that person did to me. Just a simple question. Why did you give it a try? Just try it. And then the whole world that you have in your mind for X numbers of years you are on this planet just collapses and changes, and you instantly creating something else. And it's so beautiful and powerful because you see how far you can go. It's like if you are in a room and there's doors made by doors, you know, and you believe these doors are these doors are a wall, but actually doors, until somebody tells you, why did you try to open that door? You see, it's not a wall, it's just a door. And you start opening the doors and you see all the potentials you have and how many things you can do. And one leads to another one, to another one, to another one. And
eventually you realize there is no wall. That isn't a wall. There isn't a wall.
Yeah, there was never a wall. There was never a wall.
No.
There's no spoon.
There is no spoon. Nice. That's amazing. I think from that, Angelo, I think we've got very similar very similar realization moments, I think. But I think what you had, by the sounds of it as well, is you had an outside influence that was able to influence you to thinking differently. Now, there are some people that are in that negative zone where they are still in the depths of that negative environment, and they haven't got that positive outsider coming in and saying, well, what if you could just change the way you're thinking, just change you. If you concentrate on you and not what everyone else is saying, and have that belief in yourself and do something for you. Some people don't have that. So I think what that made me think of when you were talking then was the whole point of our group, the whole point of this show. If we could give one person just that change in approach, and that realization that actually, you know what, if you could just find that one person that for the first time tells you, you can do it, you can do anything, you can do anything, if you just ignore the negative. And I think sometimes the negative people aren't negative because they're not trying to be mean, and they're not trying to be unkind. It's just that is all they know. It's like you said, that is all they know. They've got this bubble, and some people are in a lot smaller bubbles than others. Some people are in bubbles where the walls of the bubbles aren't transparent and you can't see outside of it. But there are some people within those bubbles who can see through that wall. And I think it can be very difficult when you've got every single person and every single angle you're being hit with this belief that, these special achievements are reserved for the elite. They're reserved for the people that were born into it. They're reserved for people that are born with this special right to achieve more than you can achieve. Then I think it's very difficult to break out of that and see that other path. And I think it's such a rigid path, that one, the negative people, that it is hard. It's almost like swimming upstream when you decide to take the other option and start working on yourself. And like you said, I love that about the doors and the walls. When the walls are up, and just try the door. You can see the door there. You can. I mean, even if you can see the door, you just assume it's locked for you. That's I haven't got access to that. That's reserved for someone else. Where it's almost like private. It says private on the door, for example, and you think, well, that's not for me. I'm not good enough to go in there. I've got to stay on this. I've got to stay on this in this room with everyone else. Just push the door and see what's on the other side. I mean, what have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? I mean, you try something new. You try to achieve something that you perhaps think that you can't achieve. Worst case scenario, you end up back where you are in this at the very bottom, because I mean, from your experience, by the sounds of it, you were at the bottom and you knew you were at the bottom. Everything was negative. You weren't being treated very well. You weren't being the people weren't being very nice to you. So you had nothing to lose. You had nothing to lose by trying these things. And I think a lot of people are in that position where they are complacent. I mean, the worst thing is when you're in that negative environment and you're quite happy to be in it. That one, that really baffles me, that people can be in that zone still and be comfortable in there and just read about they can buy the newspaper every day and read about the success of everyone else. They can turn to the back page and look at the sport and say, look how successful all these people are. That's brilliant. I'm just going to go back and sit in my negative zone for a while and read about it. And they put it on such a high pedestal that they don't even they don't even think about that could be me rather than this. They see this as their entertainment. That's their entertainment, reading about these elite performers and these, these super successful people, that they are entertained by that lifestyle, and then they are happy just to stay in theirs, and at the same time as assuming that they are happy, they're not happy about it. They crave things that they believe are unattainable, and they never ever put that first step on the road towards getting it for themselves. It's bizarre to me, man. Bizarre.
That's what the social media trying to do too. Unfortunately, we live in the world. Unfortunately, the companies, they don't want you to wake up. They don't want you to grow. They don't want you to go far away. That's why you see Instagram. Social media in general. Okay, we don't start calling names. They exposing the best. How the best figure for the man, the best figure for the women, and because whatever you feed your mind, let's call your mind a garden. Whatever you put in that garden, this is what is gonna grow. If you keep putting like a deadly mushrooms, and you keep taking care of the deadly mushroom, whatever, at the end of it, when it's gonna grow up, it's gonna bread. If you touch it, there is a mushroom that if you touch it, you die in a few minutes. If you touch it, you're going to die. Eventually, you're going to die, or you're going to get poisoned or whatever. So this is the same thing. So you think you just scrolling. But you actually ruining your life even more. The choices you do every day on a social media, whatever, is another choice to your distraction, unless you have control of it, of course.
That's right.
Like if you out of the 24 hours, you have 10 productive hours and towards your success, and you're spending 5 minutes, 45 minutes, half an hour to do social media, nothing is going to happen. But if the only thing you do is just scrolling and interacting with nonsense things, they're going to change you to think at one point you're going to look yourself in the mirror, you're going to say, oh my God, I'm very skinny, or I'm very fat, or I don't have six pack, or for the women, I'm not curvy enough, or my breast is not big enough, or this one, or you're changing the whole thing. And this is actually the exposure they're giving you of how you want to be, because they want you to feel depressed, so you won't have the chance to open that door. That even if it says private, what you said, I really liked it. If it says private on it, maybe that private is for you only. Maybe you think it's about perspective. You see the private and you say, oh, that door is private, I cannot go. What if the person that put the door in wants to make you think that it's for you only? Just open it. Just try to open
that opportunity behind that door
and go.
Is the key to your perfect life. And you just assume that's not that must be for someone else. I think as well, what you touched on there with the social media thing as well, is I think it's I think, because 9 times out of 10 when you're posting on social media, you're trying to portray your best life, and that could be one of 1,000 photographs you took that day that you've carefully selected and reposed for. I could be guilty of it myself, and there's this bar that is set by social media posts, and is actually causing a lot of distraught and distress, where people seem to think of, they refer to those as goals for their life. If I could just get to this point, then I'll be happy. And then they post these pictures of the perfect, they're trying to get the perfect photo with the perfect body and the perfect scenario. And then as soon as that photo's done, they go back to their normal life. But we don't see that side of it from our standpoint. When you look at social media, you don't see that bit where they take that photo and they edit it and it looks great and they post some really positive stuff. The realistic side of life, where perhaps you're not having the best day. There's not many people. There are some, to be fair. There's quite a few, but there aren't many people that are posting about how bad their day was. It's usually right. Okay, I'll try and get a decent selfie. And upload that, and I think it's putting the bar really high for people's expectations of life, and it's now beginning to set in and affect our kids as well. There's this false life portrayed online that we've got to be careful to avoid. I mean, I'll give you a good example. Here's something that just it'll blow your mind. I will look at my own Instagram account and I will see my body from when I wasn't carrying around as many pounds as I am now, and I'll get jealous of myself. Do you know what I mean? That's the power of these images. I would have taken a photo.
Yeah.
I'd have taken a photo during a cut like a long time ago where I was like really low body fat, and I'll look at myself and just naturally my brain will be like that. Oh, if only I could look like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that was me not long ago. But so we're never happy. So I think the key is finding that comfort and that self-confidence, and that's really hard to do, but it's learning to love yourself, and that is such a big topic at the moment. It's learning to love yourself every day, not just that day where you had a good one, you know, when you woke up and your hair was on point, and you know you didn't have any spots or something that day, and then you got to love yourself that day, and then you got to love yourself when you wake up and you're not having your best day, your hair's all over the place, and you know you're still the same person. So to judge yourself differently day to day, you know, it's not healthy. You're still that same person. And I have days as well where, you know, my partner and I will be getting ready to go out, and for whatever reason you just don't feel comfortable in yourself, and we say to each other that what we call that, we say I can't find myself today. I can't find myself. So no matter what I put on, out of all they're my clothes, you know, I know what they are. I just don't feel like myself today. And you've got to learn to, you know, you've got to learn to love yourself on those days as well. You know, the days that aren't, where everything's not 100%, and you know, you're not feeling great, or you don't feel like you're looking how you want to look. You know, those are important days, and we'll get more of those than we do the good days. So you got to
these are the most important days, I believe, the moment, because it's like you saying, oh, when this is gonna happen to my life, you know, I'm gonna do this and this and this and this, and you can say it every day, but when that happens, you just losing control. I think when the event is happening is the only moment that you have to focus on it and then start working on it, because this is the only moment you can adjust. And you know, you have to try, like we said from the very first episode and the rest of the episodes, you have to bring this, you have to understand that discomfort is your friend. You know, whatever happened to me, I'm grateful, man. Like since the beginning in this life, you know, like we're saying, like if you're not happy, the more you go, then you're not getting happy, and eventually you started being grateful, you know, because now you love the way you are with your partner, with your kids and your body and everything, because you realized you went from the point of, you know, getting addicted with exposure of social media and other stuff, to you got to the point of being grateful, and you know, you love your body the way you are. You love your partner for the way she is, and when you start your day by being grateful, and you just not start the day, start and ending the day by being grateful, you know, nothing can bother you. It's just the ultimate shield around you, you know, and nothing can bother you, and you start feeling appreciation about stuff, and when you start loving yourself, because when you are grateful and you appreciate, then other stuff are coming up. Start working out for your body because you appreciate. You start eating healthier because you appreciate. Then you start doing other stuff for other people because you understand the pain and everything that you went through, because now you're grateful for everything that happened, because of everything that happened made you who you are. So it's really nice, I think, for us to start being grateful for everything, you know, bad or good, because this is what makes us. And you know, we have to use the past and whatever is happening to us. Oh no, why me? Oh, out of everybody, why me? You know, there is a reason why it's happening to you, and also there is a reason why you're reacting that way. If you were another mindset, you would say you wouldn't even react. You'd be like, okay, you would just go forward with it, you know, with that problem, let's call it. But now, if your mindset is poor, you're like, oh my God, I can do this, and why me? Why this guy has this one, and I got this, whatever. But if you're grateful with whatever, if you get that issue, whatever, you be like, okay, yeah, I'll take care of it. I'll be fine.
I think an important thing to think is, a lot of people are they're craving a life where there is no negative, and I think the important lesson is to expect negative is normal, and like, you know, life is half negative, so it's to realize that it's okay to have that negativity. It's okay, and the downtimes, you know, they're not necessarily just like you said about discomfort. It's not just physical discomfort, it's emotional discomfort, it's mental discomfort, it's, you know, it's realizing that happens. It happens to everyone. It happens to everyone more often than not, and it is about realizing that you know, it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to be down every now and then. You know, it's okay to feel like, you know, that you're not 100%. Negativity is okay, and to try and strive towards a life where there is zero negativity. You are setting yourself up for a mission that is, you know, it's not accomplishable. So it's not necessarily blocking out the negative. It is learning how to live with it, and to appreciate that, you know, everybody's going through it. You're listening to the Shaped by Gods podcast. Okay, so I think we're going to do a little catch up. Things that have been going on around the world in the last week since the last episode. It'll be good to start introducing little updates for, obviously we're not recording this live and it goes through an editing process, so we won't be bang on up to the minute with current affairs, but we would like to reflect on what's been going on, and it gives us a chance to actually talk about things after the fact, so we can actually reflect on not just what's coming up, but what actually happened in relation to that. So this week, on Monday the 8th of February, we had International Women's Day, which is, you know, it's a massive thing, and do you know what, it is a massive thing, but it shouldn't even be a thing. We shouldn't need to reserve one day to celebrate and to appreciate the incredible women that surround us. I know personally I wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for the women that are in my life, and at no point have I ever been someone that thought that women should be in any way not equal to men, or it shouldn't even be a question, you know, Angelo. And for me, they're the hardest working people I've ever been around have been females. You know, my mother's worked she's worked so hard her whole life. My partner, she is highly skilled and she works so hard. And do you know what? Without her, my organization skills would be awful. She basically runs me, runs my life. I'm completely useless without her. And I obviously have two daughters as well. So I've got three generations of definitely, I've got two generations of very strong, very, very skilled, you know, amazing women. And I've got two that I would like to bring up in a world where, you know, women were treated the way they should be treated, and it shouldn't. There shouldn't even be a subcategory. There shouldn't be a subcategory. You know, we're all human beings. We're not born and then you say, okay, what do you want to be, male or female? You choose now, and then your whole life is dictated to by that choice. You know, it's incredible. You know, for me personally, women are the stronger species. That, you know, the stronger half of the species. You know, the things that they endure, and it should not be made more difficult by a world that is unequal. Obviously, you know, Angelo, you've got a very strong woman behind you who's helping you through your life as well. So
that's very true. it's very sad too. Like you said, it's very sad we live in the world that we have to dedicate a day to remember, start supporting, and stand up for the women, while everybody should be equal, and we should just celebrate it daily. Not just celebrate. There shouldn't be any celebration. We are who we are. We should be equal, because if we celebrate, means it was not in balance, and now is in balance. So you celebrate that you made it happen. So it's very sad, but we are all equal, of course. And I'm thankful, me too. I have a strong woman next to me, and I wouldn't be that far without her. And strong women out there too, that governments and countries, they wouldn't be that far if they wouldn't be over there to this situation. They're going through crazy stuff, through sexism and comments, negativity and abuse, and they're still fighting, and they show they are the strongest. They're the strongest half species, like you said, and they are amazing, So right. Happy Women's Day, and we're very happy that we have you next to us.
Definitely. I think, next to us is right as well. I mean, there's that old saying, behind every strong man, there's a woman, but it's not behind. It shouldn't be behind. It should be stood right there, in front.
Exactly.
Of a lot of
hold their hands.
Exactly. I think as much as we can say we shouldn't be in a position where we need to have this day, the fact of the matter is we've still got a long way to go to bring the equality that it's a no-brainer. Equality, it shouldn't be in discussion. It should be just everyone. I mean, in a system where you are rewarded on merit rather than on the fact that you were born a certain sex, it just doesn't make sense to me. So we are all about we are free athletes, Angelo. Let's talk about what Freeletics did. They have some very. Do you know what, Vanessa? I'm just going to say Vanessa. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
The beast.
You want to, you want to talk about equality? I have got a long way to go to catch up. To
exactly.
Vanessa and the strength and the power and the drive and ambition and the skill and the work rate of Vanessa alone and we are surrounded by so many strong women. At every stage of their fitness journey, they are there. They are mentally strong and awe-inspiring. So for International Women's Day, what Freeletics did was they launched a little campaign where we were all going to stand up for our women. We're going to actually take part in a stand-up challenge. So hashtag stand-up was the hashtag they were using. So we were going to try and do as many stand-ups as we could in support of this day. So people were uploading footage or evidence that they'd done these stand-ups, which if you don't know, stand-ups are an exercise that actually I haven't seen outside of Freeletics personally, but obviously I'm in the Freeletics world, so that's where I would have seen it. I haven't seen these outside of Freeletics. So you lie on your back. You almost go as if you're going to do a sit-up, but you go fully up and you end up stood up. So you tuck your feet back towards your butt and you stand up, and then you jump at the top of the motion, and then you sit back down. So they're not easy. They're not an easy workout by any stretch, but I think it was the perfect workout. It works well with that hashtag stand up, because we do need to stand up to bring that equality, to bring the pay gap. The pay gap is one that baffles me as well. I mean, it does not make sense that someone could be as skilled or even more skilled. They can work just as hard. They work the same amount of hours, and just because of their sex, that they are paid less. It just does not make sense. And I'll tell you what, Angelo, for any father out there who is working and their wife is at home with the kids, and if they think that's easy, then you try having a day at home with just the kids and just you, and you send your wife off to work and you try and bring your kids up on your own. It is so hard. It's such hard work, and
sculpting a brain, it's extremely difficult. sculpting, having a human being and trying to create it and make it amazing. It's
just keeping things going. I mean, it's so difficult. I mean, it's exhausting. It really is exhausting, and through these lockdowns and things like that, obviously we were at home, we were homeschooling for a while, and actually as it transpired, my partner went back to work before I did, and she went back full time, and I was done. Homeschooling was insane for me. It was so difficult, and it's just keeping a 3-year-old distracted without distracting the 8-year-old, and then keeping the 8-year-old working, doing her homework, whilst trying to keep the 3-year-old from distracting her. And then you find that when your partner has the same job to do, she could just do it. I mean, it's hard work, but they just the ability to be able to take on everything. And then whenever she came home and I'd had the kids, the state of the house when she got home was atrocious. And then I come home from a day when I've been at work, and it's like she's had a cleaner in, and I come home and I come in and both the kids are polishing and tidying up. I'm like, what the hell? What is this? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Yes, so that was the challenge. So we had people doing stand-ups and assisted stand-ups, and I think it was a great challenge. I took part in it myself, uploaded them, and from myself, and I know from the Shaped by God's team, which is you and I, Angelo, we just want to say a massive thank you to everything that
thank you to everybody.
Thank you. And really, as much it is as like, I mean, we say about these causes where they should be a no-brainer. This is not something we should have to fight for. You shouldn't have to fight for this. It should just exist. But the fact is, we do have to fight for it, because it does exist. These gaps do exist. People are treated differently, and we should not tolerate it. We just shouldn't. It should not be accepted. And now, so I'm going to run this smoothly as if it was a planned segue into our next section. Okay, so hey Angelo, speaking of stand-ups, how about we
speaking of stand-ups,
how about we go into our workout of the week for this week?
Yes sir, let's go.
Okay,
awesome.
Let's do it.
A workout with stand-ups in it.
Yes, here we go. Time for workout of the week.
Workout of the week.
Yes, that's right. It's time for our workout of the week. And before we get on to this week's workout, we're going to quickly catch up with last week's workout of the week, which was Metis. Now, that is one of the most famous freeletics workouts. We've got the more recognizable names as far as gods are concerned, like Venus and Aphrodite and Hades and Zeus. These are all gods that if you mention those to people, they would instantly know what you were talking about. But Metis is not a massively known name globally. Obviously, I imagine anyone with Greek heritage might have heard it before. I don't know anyone though, so we won't talk about
Never.
So we asked about Metis. Metis is it is horrible. To put it quite frankly, it's horrible. No one enjoys Metis, but
taking your breath away.
It's a breath taker. Okay, so we asked you guys your experiences with Metis. I mean, a quick recap. So with Metis, it is 3 rounds. First round is 10 reps. Second round, 25 reps. Third round is 10 reps. It is burpees. It is climbers, and it is jumps. And it completely saps your energy. It completely destroys you. Your oxygen levels just drop completely, and you kind of want to die quite early on in that one, to be quite honest. So we have had some feedback. We asked you what your experiences were, and if you had any advice for people just taking on Metis for the first time. So people have taken to Instagram. Actually, we've got people contacted us in Instagram on stories and on posts that we've put up. I'm going to start, Angelo. I'm going to start with, let me see, at Sebandhika, Sebandhika. I'll spell it because I probably can't pronounce it. Okay, so we've got some feedback. Metis is truly hell on earth. It took the strongest guts to win the battle for sure. My personal best was 3 minutes 29 seconds, and that was 9 months ago. For a first timer, I'd love to recommend to do it slowly to find the best breathing method during the exercise. Soon, when the breathing method looks okay, then speed up the game. And I think a lot of the feedback we got is very similar, Angelo. It's very, very good advice. You want to get the technique down first before you go for the speed, because if you go in all guns firing on this one, you're going to feel it and you're going to just burn out real quick. I'll go for another one then, Angelo, and then I'll send it over you. Okay, so fellow ambassador, Freeletics ambassador, Tanith, Metis is a reminder never to underestimate stuff, and that is the biggest thing with Metis. You do underestimate it because on paper it looks so small, and you see other people getting a 5-minute time, you think, okay, 5 minutes, that's going to be easy, but it really isn't. Even with a nice PB of 3 minutes 52, I need to say that this god has to be approached taking our time if we do not want to risk a lack of breathing. And there you go, there's that oxygen sapping again, Angelo. So approach it slowly and try and work on your on your PBs later on. If you're doing it for your first time, just get through it and get to know it a bit.
Yeah, like I'm gonna read some comments too. Like Tiago says, Tiago from beautiful Brazil, for him it's an opportunity to burn some calories, and also his interest to how to breathe during this battle against Metis, and his personal best is 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Almost a year ago, I think he can do it faster or even the same time so far, because he's doing an amazing job with himself, and he's training really great. And on advice from him too, he's looking like an easy god, easy elements, and focus on technique, like most people saying, and also how to breathe. Tiago says, Metis is a very quick burner that takes everything out of you, and I think it's like everybody says, it's perfect chance for you to focus on your breathing, because it's something very fast. It brings you to the peak of your performance very, very fast. Really so does. How to manage your breathing is crucial.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna read some from Villa Santi. He says it's a hard challenge. That's 100%. You feel like your heart is gonna stop, or you're going to have a heart attack right when you're on the 25 burpees or the jumps.
Yeah.
And also from Claudius is my first favorite god. That's awesome.
Oh, cool. That's
like
good.
We said.
I think same as you with Aphrodite. I think you hate it.
Exactly.
You hate it. It's never comfortable, but that's why it's your favorite. You like burpees. You like burpee squat jumps because they are hard and because you know what good they're doing for you. So yeah, I think that's good. I think you mentioned Tiago there. I just want to say that I've been following Tiago for a little while now. We've been following each other, and his progress because of his consistency has been incredible. And I do think if you say that Metis time was a year ago, I think he could hit that pretty hard now, and I think he could definitely beat that PB because he's been so consistent with his work. I
don't think Metis wants to meet Tiago right now. I think Metis is gonna run away if sees Tiago on the way. It's gonna. I think the Freeletics app is gonna go on an error or something like that.
He's on the hunt. He's hunting you down, Tiago. Okay, so let's roll that in. That's some brilliant feedback from everybody. I think everyone has an opinion on Metis, and sometimes it's probably from encourages some colourful language from people, I think, when you bring up Metis. So we're going to move on now to this week's workout of the week. Okay, this week it's a very similar workout. This week we're going to, because we've been talking about stand-ups, we're going to talk about nicks. This week's workout of the week is nicks, everybody. Now this is one that I can remember my very first time because I hadn't prepared myself properly for these stand-ups, and this one actually ended up injuring my knee. So let's talk about nicks for a minute. I'm gonna break down the workout itself, Angelo. So it's another 3-rounder, and it's the same rep count as Metis actually. So it ties in quite nicely with last week's. It's 3 rounds. First round is 10 reps. Second round 25 reps. Third round is 10 reps. And the exercises involved in this one are sit-ups, leg raises, and stand-ups. So it's very much a core workout. Now, the sit-ups and the leg raises are one thing, but when you get to those stand-ups, that is definitely something that is very technique sensitive, and a lot of people struggle with this. So my little bit of advice for the stand-ups would be, so you start in a sit-up position. So you lie down flat with your legs flat and your arms stretched out. Okay, so you're almost lying as long as you can be. So the key to these stand-ups is the momentum in the arms. It's swinging those arms forward. So you're going to sit up, you're going to bring your legs back and tuck them under your butt, and then you're going to use that momentum in your arms and that in that fast sit-up motion to end up getting onto your feet. And when you get onto your feet, you're going to stand right up, and then you're going to jump. And it's almost like the end of the stand-up is almost like the top part of a burpee, isn't it, Angelo? So you do the jump at the top, and then
you do the jump. Yeah,
that's right. And then
it's a very good, very good exercise, because you switching your focus from laying down. Then you have to do like a sit-up, bring your legs close together, and then you have to switch your focus to focus on your legs and stand up, and while squeezing your core to stand up. It's very great exercise.
You're landing as well. You've got to land back down, and then you've got to be thinking about, because you go back onto your back for the next rep. So you go down nice and smoothly onto your butt again, and then you roll down your back nice and carefully. It's a nice smooth movement. So it's a difficult one again, isn't it? I mean, with the sit-ups and the leg raises, once you do that first round, the first round can give you a false sense of security, I think, because as much as the 10 stand-ups are very difficult, once you've done 10 sit-ups, 10 leg raises, and then 10 stand-ups, to go into the second round, which the rep count goes up to 25, you're getting into the difficult territory then, when you're going to start struggling with those stand-ups and the leg raises, and your core starts to burn. But it is a fantastic workout. It's another one that can be done if you haven't got a great deal of time. So I would definitely recommend giving that one a go. And again, that's another one of the Freeletics Gold workouts that's free with the app. That you do not need a subscription to get access to Nix. So go and enjoy that. Now, let us know. We're going to put some posts on our Instagram account again. So let us know your experiences with Nix. How did you get on with those stand-ups? We've been talking about stand-ups in our little WhatsApp group and the technique. And I think actually it all plays hand in hand, and it helps with pistol squats as well. And every little bit that you progress on these stand-ups will help you with another workout. If you can't do the stand-ups, of course, there are the assisted stand-ups that it's all a progression. So if you can't get the stand-ups, then you can put your hand down by the side to give you that little bit of momentum. I actually find it easier without the hands personally, but if you can't get that momentum, then you can use the assisted and adapt that workout. So Nix, enjoy Nix this week, and let us know how you feel about it. Okay, let's wrap that up, Angelo. I think we've covered some really cool things there. I'm so glad we got to speak about International Women's Week today. The Freeletics movement with #StandUp was great, and I think it's never too late to join in these things, and it's not something that should be reserved for just one day. Like we said, this is something that we should be celebrating and working towards every day. So do not just have this one day to highlight the difference in equality. We want to work on that every day and make sure that progress is still being made every single day to bring that gap down. It's been great, Angelo. I'm really enjoying these podcasts. It's become a highlight of my week. So I want to thank you again.
Me too. Thank you, Oli, and thank you everybody who's listening and putting the time and the effort to listen to us, and also give up the feedback to become better and better. Yeah,
that's right. We have received some incredible feedback. It's been so valuable to us. Keep it coming. We're so glad to be able to hear when people send us private messages saying that they've actually used something that they've listened to and that they've heard in the podcast, and they've applied that to their workouts or to a situation in their life, and they're actually taking some value. So the whole point of this is, if we can give one person value, then it's all worth it. If we can change one thing about one person's life that puts them on a positive trajectory, then we're very happy. Right, that's it. Thank you so much, Angelo. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I cannot wait for you to get back with your back injury, so we can get back on track, and we can see you smashing Amazona again.
Oh yeah, 100%, triple if I'm still alive at the end.
That's right. Okay, thank you, everybody. We shall speak to you again next week. I hope you have a fantastic week. Thank you for listening.